Hoiberg will launch the three. Oh, he hits!
Clobber to left field. Another double for Washington. This time it's Nick Kresnak.
But no doubt, two-run, go-ahead homer in the seventh. The bat flip puts the exclamation mark on a comeback.
An RBI knock from Kresnak, who's had an incredible night.
Sam Hoiberg, the son of the coach, to steal the bucket.
Welcome back. Episode 3 of the sports section. There's our point guard, Sam Hoiberg. I'm Matthew Mounsey, and the point guard for the 2-0 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Congrats, Sam. How's the weekend?
Thank you, sir. Always better after a win. Feeling pretty good about our team. I think we almost set a school record for threes, so I think we've had that 2 times now where we've almost got it, and one against BYU and one on Saturday, so we're going to keep working for that.
Boys were shooting the lights out.
Yeah, not me, though, but we're going to start making them soon.
It's all right. You got other guys. We got shooters.
Yeah, I'll find the shooters. That's what I'm here for.
We got shooters out here in Lincoln.
We sure do.
Besides the game, how's your weekend?
It was good. I saw the Husker football team take home a W at UCLA last night. That was just a perfect way to cap off the Saturday. I think every single Husker sport won yesterday. So we're feeling pretty good in Lincoln right now.
Nice. I love it. I went up to Fort Worth for the Frogs game this weekend. Real disappointing loss, but got a lot of great feedback on the pod from a lot of people. We got people tuning in.
We love to see it. It's only going to grow from here. We need some call-ins from the guys here soon.
That's what I'm saying. We got that number up on the Instagram if anybody wants to leave us a voicemail. I do have one that I'm going to play later in the show, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a good one. I had a little bit of a set tragedy up here. This is my boy, the big dumper right here, Cal Raleigh.
Oh, yeah.
Should win MVP this year, just for the record. But I broke his glove off the bobblehead.
Oh, no.
I know.
What happened?
I was doing some work, and he fell off the desk. I don't know. It's unfortunate. It's the platinum
Not the
glove,
big dumper.
too. I know. Look at his dumper.
Oh.
We'll sit him backwards there.
We move. We fight through
move.
adversity in the show, in the sports section.
Yeah. I think the best part of my weekend up in Fort Worth, do you have kind of like your go-to gas station or store, like a spot that you go a lot that you really like?
Sure.
So I got Andy's Food Mart up in Fort Worth. That's my spot. Went there 4 years, multiple times a week. And I've been missing my guy, Sahith. Same guy, working there all day, every day. And so I get to go up this weekend. I walk in there to get some stuff, say hi to my guy. And Sahith was just fired up, came around the counter, gave me a hug. I miss that guy, man. It was good to be back in the fort.
The fort is definitely one of my favorite places. I don't know if that's just from the experiences I had there, visiting Charlie and all you guys, but Fort Worth is definitely a place you got to go and experience if you haven't before.
Yeah, for those of you that might not know, I know Sam through his twin brother, Charlie, who's now a grad assistant on staff. It's got to be pretty fun, the both of you guys back together.
It is fun. I mean, he's undefeated as a coach right now, so we're going to keep that rolling. But yeah, I mean, he's learning so much, and it's kind of funny because last year, be me, older brother Jack, who works for the San Antonio Spurs, and my dad. Obviously, we've been just entrenched in basketball in college, and Charlie was not as much. And we'd be talking basketball, talking actions and stuff that he said it sounded like a second language. And now when we get dinners, it's me, Charlie, my dad, and my mom. And my mom is just so lost at this time of year. We're like, sorry, Mom, we'll talk about the stuff you want to talk about when the season's over. But Charlie is now involved in those conversations, so that's pretty cool for him.
Shout out to Mrs. Hoiberg.
The best.
And also a shout out, they wanted me to make sure to say hi to you. The King family was in Fort Worth this weekend.
Love the Kennings.
They've been watching the show.
Have they?
Yeah.
Shout out Greg and Suzanne.
The goats, man.
The absolute goats.
I noticed on some of the college football broadcasts this weekend, you know, I'm big into kind of the vocabulary around it, just, you know, watching guys that I like. Gus Johnson also, by the way, unreal this weekend. just started screaming.
I mean, that last call was a little questionable. You love the raw passion out of Gus. That's all you watch him for.
Oh, he's the man. But I noticed that a bunch of broadcasters have started to say the word matriculate, and I love it. You got to matriculate the football down the field. First down, matriculation. So I'm going to start saying.
Can you define matriculate for me?
I think it's like a gradual movement. I could be wrong, but I think it's like marching down the field sort of thing.
Matriculate.
Yeah, what do you got?
See if I can spell this right. First definition, verb, be enrolled at college or university. Second definition, Scottish English, record in an official register.
Okay.
Not sure how this translates to football.
I don't either. Maybe we're matriculating some ball plays, recording the plays. I don't know, but I like it, and I'm going to start saying it.
Sure. We can make it a thing.
It's probably going to end up being on a T-shirt at some point. So last week, episode 2 with myself and Krez, we started the show with our favorite team in sports that day, and I talked about Hawaii Pacific basketball team. I'm sure that you saw what those guys did. But
I was actually recruited by Hawaii Pacific, one of the few schools that recruited me out of high school.
Wow.
It was during COVID, so I never got to play in front of them. I don't know if they ever would have came from Hawaii to come watch me, but I did get a call from Hawaii Pacific. So that was pretty cool to see them take down Boise State. There's rumors that they're still having a bit of a hangover from losing to us in the Crown, so maybe that was the reason they lost.
I don't doubt that. A lot of things going on in Boise. Not a lot of hoops go on in Boise. Real nice place, though.
Been a good squad for a long time. Leon Rice, they recruited me too, actually. So that was a little throwback for me. Boise State and Hawaii Pacific.
Nice. So to go off that a little bit, we're not going to do the full segment, but I got a favorite team today. Our boy Will Maynard gave me a great story this weekend about the fellas from Amarillo High School up in Amarillo, Texas. This is 6A high school football in Texas. This is Friday Night Lights.
That's the highest?
Yeah, this is like 10,000 people at your high school games. If you haven't watched Maynard's Huddle highlights, do yourself a favor, everybody out there. Anyway, the Golden Sandstorm, all-time mascot, the Sandies. So they were 7-2, number 2 team in their district, juggernaut, dominating football team. I guess last week some random clerical error came out where they had this freshman cornerback that had played in 6 games, but he wasn't registered properly with the school. And so they had to vacate all the games that he played in. So overnight, they go from 7-2 to 2-7. They had to vacate every win except for 2. And they are playing their rivals on last Friday night, and they got to beat them to have a shot to be the last team in the playoffs out of their district. So they go on and take care of business, blowout win over the rival. They go technically 3-7, but should have been 8-2. And I think there's 2 tiebreakers. They were in a 3-way tie at 3-7. And so it's like record head to head, I think common opponents, something like that. And they were tied, all 3 of them, all the way through. Goes to a 3-way coin flip. All the coaches, there's a video of it. All the coaches meet up at a gas station in like the middle of nowhere, West Texas. They flip a coin. The odd one out makes it to the playoffs, and the Sandies march on.
No way.
They win it.
So if they didn't have all those wins vacated, they would have no issue getting in, right?
They would have been the 2nd seed in their district.
Okay, so that makes, that's God just helping out. He knew that they should have wanted those wins. That is unbelievable.
They deserve to make the playoffs. They do make the playoffs on a coin flip.
On a coin flip.
Good for those guys. A shout out to the fellows up in Amarillo. But I thought that was pretty crazy. I thought I needed to tell that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Why'd they choose a gas station?
I couldn't tell you. But I guess his former high school coach who's still there was just like crying in this parking lot, like tears of joy. You know, you're almost ending careers based on a clerical error and a coin flip.
Well, I'm glad they still get a roll.
One of our most viewed social media clips last week. I think it was the most viewed. Also, a shout out to everybody following along. We've had a great following so far. But I think our most viewed clip was us talking about fantasy last week. You got a big win over Rienk. So my struggles continued this week, playing our boy Chuck Barrow. I scored 150 on him. Straight up PPR. Regular one quarterback PPR, flex, your traditional fantasy scoring. 150 points. Seahawks defense had like 22 for me. Chuck dropped 171 on my head.
So this is just week to week happening to you, huh? How many people are in this league?
12.
What's the average score? Have you done that math against you?
I would have beat every other team in the league this week. I'm now going to be 2-8. I'm averaging 126 points a week. That went up today, so probably north of 130 a week, which is nuts. And teams are averaging 139 against me.
Oh my gosh, Mounsey.
What am I supposed to do?
I mean, you got to figure out something in that locker room. There's no defense being played by Mounsey's fantasy team. You got to play some D.
Well, and like you, I've got a good locker room presence. I got Sam Darnold in there.
Sure, he's big time.
I got Josh Allen, so he doesn't start, but he's the leader in that clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get some defense, man.
I know. I got to figure something out. Did you win this week?
I'm in a battle this week. Projected to lose by 1 point currently. I got Jalen Warren playing tonight. They're about to start. And then Cameron Dicker. I got 96 points right now. And this is two teams that are 5-4, so this is a big game. And he's got Luke Musgrave, Green Bay tight end, and Romeo Doubs. Is that how you say that?
Dobbs, yeah.
Dobbs. So yeah, we're in a tight battle here. He's got 100, so he's projected to get 21 out of those guys. I'm projected to get 24 out of mine.
Okay.
It's going to be a toss-up. You can definitely pull it out. Sammy D did not show up for the fantasy team this week, by the way.
Well, the Hawks were up like 35-0 early.
4.9 points ain't going to cut it.
DeMarcus Lawrence had 2 defensive touchdowns in the first half.
This is big time. Also, Brock Bowers with a huge showing after dropping 43 with 3.7. Yeah, that didn't help. But we still got a chance.
That Thursday night game was one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
Yeah, I feel like that happens too often on those Thursday night, Monday night games. Just absolute terrible games.
I'm with you. The primetime games, I feel like, haven't lived up to the hype necessarily this season.
But
I got some feedback this last week that apparently I wave these cards around all the time, but I got some stuff written down, and I'm probably going to wave them. We got a big interview, first guest ever on the pod, coming off a historic triple-double, Rienk Mast. Welcome on the first ever guest of the Sports Section podcast, coming off of a historic triple-double for the Nebraska Cornhuskers this week. Rienk Mast, everybody. There he is.
Yep. Thank you for having me on. Honor to be the first guest.
Great to have you, my man. It's been too long. It's good to see you. I think the last time I saw you, you visited Fort Worth, and I think your feet were hanging like a foot off of the couch that you and Sam were sleeping on at our house.
Yeah, we were making that work. Just with the two of us on the couch. At least you had a big couch, so we made it work.
You guys are gritty, no doubt. So, third triple-double in the history of Nebraska basketball. And I don't know if you know this, you are the only college basketball player in the country this year that has a triple-double to this point. So congrats on that.
2 games in. Thank you.
Pretty rare in a 40-minute game, and you do it in 25 minutes. What, you had a double-double at halftime pretty much, right?
Yeah, I think I had like 14, 10, and 5. So
you think you knew. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I normally don't look up at the Jumbotron, but like right before halftime, I looked up because I felt like I was doing good. So that's pretty damn good. So went into halftime, I'm like 5 assists away. Let me try and get.
I'll say this: you were, I don't know how many points and rebounds you had, but you had 8 assists, and I didn't want to say it because we were in the huddle and we're still locked in here, Mounsey. Like, we're not trying to talk about stats, obviously. And I was about to say, I was like, Rick, and then I stopped myself. I said, keep making good passes, keep diming out there, as opposed to saying, Rick, you got to get 2. You got to get 2 more. Did you kind of get what I was saying there? Do you remember that? I was like,
yeah.
just keep finding guys. You're doing great.
No, we had multiple. Like Oogie was telling me, and then I was sitting on the bench. And Coach Z was like, I normally don't say this, but hey, go do this.
And Mounsey, I don't know if you watched, but he was 2 away, and I wasn't playing anymore. We were up pretty big. I think we were up 39 or something.
Yeah.
And Rienk starts forcing it, throwing passes that guys
were
not expecting passes. The first one was good, but once you got to 9, you were not looking to do anything else but hit a guy on a back cut, and he was forcing these passes through the tightest windows. Would you have 2 turnovers in that span?
Yeah, 2.
It could have been more.
Oh, way more.
And he got it done. He actually had the ball for probably like 8 seconds. So now he didn't get a 5-second call waiting for that. But Frager had the great
the refs are also just waiting
it.
for me to try and get it.
Yeah.
They helped me out a little bit.
That's awesome. What a game for you guys. I didn't get to watch the full game. I was at the TCU football game. So I was watching it on my phone on the Gamecast, like keeping up with it. But I saw it got a little bit out of hand in the second half, which is good for you guys. And I think that's obviously the goal after a little bit of a slow start against West Georgia. You guys took care of business and ended up blowing them out in the second half, but kind of back and forth in the first half, go up 5 at halftime. What's kind of the mindset in the locker room against a team that you should be taking care of business against?
Yeah, you want to start fast. We always say, like, start fast, don't give them any confidence. Like, we knew coming in that FIU, like, they had some good players. They had a lot of talented guys. So you don't want to let them get going, let them get confident. If they start making shots, then it's going to be tough to stop them. So just don't let them get going. That's what we always say.
That West Georgia game, obviously, we didn't start great. And I think part of that was we weren't really intentional about the way we were playing offensively. They guarded completely different to how we guard, which is all we faced all like the last however many months of practice. And once we kind of adjusted, the coaches noticed that we were, slipping screens that we were supposed to be setting because they're staying with and everything. That's kind of when the game changed. But you have to get used to some of those adjustments, especially early on when you're so used to playing one kind of defense. But I think we were much more, I don't want to say locked in per se, but we were very much respecting FIU and didn't want to give them any confidence coming in because we knew they were very talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a program that made a very deep tournament run just a couple years ago. I think a lot of people have respect for Florida basketball, the defending champs out of that area as well. Rienk had a double-double in that game, 10 points, 11 rebounds. And I think the number that stood out to me the most on the box score was the attendance. 13,555 at opening night, and I think a little bit north of 14,000 for your second game. You guys have one of the bigger arenas in college basketball, but Husker fans are notorious for being incredible. What was the environment like playing in front of that many people?
Yeah, they show up every game. It's impressive. Every year you see we kind of start slow, but like slow for us is still like 10,000 people, and then throughout non-con going into conference, it just fills up, and if it's sold out, it's sold out in there. So even like from the start playing in front of that many people, it's awesome to just be able to do that every single game.
The atmosphere, football, basketball, every sport, those fans are incredible. I think a lot of people, as do I, think that you probably have the best and most loyal fan base in college athletics. And so for you personally, Rienk, coming over from Bradley, where you spent your first few seasons, what sold you on Lincoln and Nebraska?
It was partially Sam. You come on a visit, you kind of know what you're getting into. The coaches did a really good job of kind of selling the place to me, showing me the football arena, showing me volleyball, just trying to explain the fan atmosphere. But then you come on your visit and you click right away with the guys that are there. Like that's at the end of the day, that's most important. Like if you have good camaraderie with your teammates and you like each other, you end up playing better. So yeah, when I came on my visit, me and Sam clicked right away, and that was a big part of me eventually committing for sure.
So I mean this in the utmost respect. I think that some people, not me, might have forgotten about you a little bit after missing last season, had that injury, underwent surgery, long road back to recovery. But my man, you are a freaking problem right now. 6'10". I saw 7 of 7 to start the game against BYU from deep. You got 5 guys on that court that can shoot. How nice is it to have a big that you can just pop it out to like that?
Yeah, it makes it so easy. I know the other guys love it when I stand at the top because they can just drive it in, and there's no 7-footers sitting by the rim trying to block their shots. They have to guard me out there. So I know all those guys love it when I try and spread the floor, and I pass it well too. Like, yeah, I had 10 assists the other day, but I think I had even some passes that were kicked out for one mores, or I know Braden smoked a dunk off of one of my assists. So just being able to share it with those guys and knowing that everybody wants to pass it and can shoot it makes it very easy to play offense.
Sam and I talked about this a little bit on episode 1, but it seems like this is a really deep Nebraska team compared to years prior. And I want to give you guys a couple numbers. First time that you've had 5 guys in double figures since about the middle of the season last year. Not a huge dispersion between those two dates, but putting 5 guys in double figures, a really tough thing to do. Price Sanford with 20 tied his career high and had 6 threes in that game. You guys got some dudes off the bench too. This seems like a dangerous squad that is really deep, maybe for games where you might get into foul trouble or you might not have somebody available. How deep really is this Husker team? And maybe who is a guy or two that fans might not know as much about, but you see them playing a large role?
First of all, 5 guys in double digits. I think that we're going to do that way more this year. Like Sam didn't score double digits the other day. Jamarcus Lawrence can get hot too. So we got a lot of guys that can score. I'd say guys off the bench that people might not have seen just yet. I'd say Kendall Blue, he's had some really good practices and he can shoot the shit out of the ball. So he's going to have a couple games where he hits like 3 or 4 and definitely adds a lot of extra depth to our roster. And then Jared Garcia, he struggled with some injuries over the summer, but he's starting to get healthy and starting to learn the system more and more. We need him to keep learning. But he's going to have some really big games during Big Ten play, I'm sure.
During the opening weekend of college basketball week, I guess, that was really exciting. A lot of great games. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later. We saw a lot of points scored kind of nationally. And I got another stat for you guys. 17 threes in that second game for you guys. That is the most for a Husker squad since February 24th of 2002, which is the program record of 18. And you guys shot 50% from deep in that game, 17 of 34. You here live and die by the 3, but there's a lot of shooting going on in college basketball. What do you see that pace looking like as you start to play better teams?
18 is the record. We're breaking 18 one game for sure. We're doing that this year. We got way too much shooting. I think, yeah, live and die by the 3 is a thing, but we have so many different shooters. Like some guys might have an off night where other guys are going to get hot. Like we're just going to have to find who's the hot hand that day. I don't think we're going to have games where nobody's making any threes. And then if we do, like our defense is going to get better throughout the year, and our defense is going to keep us in games for sure.
We had, I think, 10 threes against West Georgia, and Rienk, Price, and Connor were a combined 1 of 14 from 3 that game. And we still hit double digits, which I don't think we did very often last season at all.
No.
And that's not going to happen often with those 3.
I'll take an off night from 3 with 10 threes. Like, that's pretty good
any
for an
day.
off night.
Yeah. So I mean, you say live and die by the 3, and I think you can I get that makes sense for our team, but I think we have so many guys that can make shots that it's going to be hard for every single one of us to be off in a night. Where if we're all off, yeah, it's going to be a rough night, but it's just not very likely, I don't think.
And I think to your point, we kind of saw that in the West Georgia game. You guys shot 31% from the field in the first half, 63% from the field in the second half. And I've said this to Charlie before in the past too, where guys like you guys at your caliber that take so many shots and practice that so much, you're going to shoot to your averages. So the more shots you take, the more points you're going to score. And obviously that sounds very simple, but you're never really going to go 0 for 50. You're going to shoot to your average, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think just like a natural thing that us basketball players say, like if you're going through a shooting slump, the averages are going to kind of, come back at some point. And that's part of the reason they always say shoot through a slump. So when you got guys that are going to be high volume shooters, yeah, they can have really off days. Like, for example, I think Price in practice one day this week was 1 for 13. And
Yeah,
then
he
in the
was.
game, he has 11 points in a minute and a half and made 6 of 9 threes. So it's really the law of averages, and it always comes back to that. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be teams that are going to be much more like aggressive and not letting us shoot, which we'll have to adjust. And I think we have a really good system and lots of guys that can make plays. So I'm not really too worried about that. But yeah, I mean, I think we just have so many guys that can make plays and make shots that it's going to be hard for teams to shut us off completely.
So for you, Sam, I think that one of the reasons that Husker fans identify with you specifically is kind of that gritty mentality that you talk about, how much you love playing defense. And that shows on the stat sheet. Game 1 against West Georgia, 5 points, 7 rebounds, ties a career high. Congrats on that. 3 assists, 2 steals. And then even in a game like FIU where you go 0 for 3 from the field and you're not taking that many shots, you still fill it up with 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I always take pride in is not worrying about stats. And I think that's huge for having a good culture, is just having guys that really don't care about their numbers. I mean, like Jamarcus, he played great, put up 18 points, I think, in the first game, and he had 1 against FIU, and he's happy as ever in the locker room. He didn't care. He wasn't sulking because he didn't score points. Like, we have guys like that don't care if they have numbers that are just going to be jumping off the charts. And I'm one of those guys. I literally just want to do anything that's going to help win. And yeah, I'll try to play harder than everyone else, and I'll get those loose balls, and maybe I'll get a few steals and extra rebounds. But yeah, at the end of the day, if I can affect winning consistently, that's just my main thing, which I think the Husker fans really love.
If we win, like, it looks good for everybody. Like, if you win as a team, it looks good on everybody individually, right? You don't win individual awards if your team is shitty.
As they say, there's only one stat that matters. That's the W column, fellas.
Exactly.
You got game 3, Maryland Eastern Shore coming to town on Tuesday. What do you guys know about them? The only thing that I know about them is that they had a baseball team 2 years ago that went 0-45, I think. That's beside the point.
It's impressive.
First time that's ever happened. Anyway, what do you guys know about Maryland Eastern Shore, and what can we expect to see there?
I'll say this might be the first time it's ever happened too. Their first game, they played Georgia Tech, obviously Power 4, Power 5 school, and they went to overtime. Then they went to go play Georgia a couple of days later, and they lost 94-29. And last game, they played, I don't know, NAI or something. Cheney something.
Yeah.
They shot 80% from the field. So we're definitely playing a team that is a little bit hot and cold, obviously, but we got to have a lot of respect for them. Taking Georgia Tech to overtime and shooting 80% in a game shows that you got some talent and definitely ability there. So we're going to try to do what Georgia did to them. But yeah, they're a bit of a hot and cold team right now, and we'll just try to stomp on them.
Yeah, same game plan. You got to get off to a fast start and don't let them get confident.
Those teams are always so weird to see play those big time Power 4 conference schools, especially when they're hot shooting like that. Sam and I were talking about the guys from Hawaii Pacific in their game against Boise State. My Frogs lost to New Orleans as 25-point favorites on opening night. That kind of got overshadowed by the Hawaii Pacific game, thankfully, in the media because that happened on the same day. So the Frogs didn't take too much slander off of that. We're not here to talk about TCU basketball, but then you guys go to the Pentagon. You got a couple neutral site games in a row. You go to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where you played last year. Then you go to the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. What's that atmosphere like in South Dakota? How was it last year? How do you expect it to be this year?
It's incredible every time. This is third year in a row that we're going there, but it's so packed because it's a smaller arena, and the acoustics in there are insane. Like all the sounds just bounce off the walls, and it gets so incredibly loud in there. It's an awesome atmosphere.
We played Oregon State there 2 years ago. Back when Rienk was playing, we won by like 35, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Then we played a really good St. Mary's team last year. I think they were a 3 seed, maybe.
Or
five.
No,
They
were really good.
They only had like 3 losses during the regular season, and I mean we had a real shot to beat them too. And I don't think we played that great, but we really do have a home court advantage for a neutral site game. So that's, I mean, a really good game for us to play, especially against a high level team like Oklahoma, which will most likely be a quad 1 game for us. So that's a really big opportunity to get an early resume building win.
Yeah, I think St. Mary's ended up on like the 5-6 line last year, but a top 25 team for the majority of the season. They beat Gonzaga every single season. And by the way, Gonzaga's playing a top 25 game.
They played Oklahoma.
Yes, they played Oklahoma it was a neutral site game in Spokane, mile from their campus.
Neutral site.
A quad 1 neutral site game basically on their campus. It was interesting.
Smart. I don't think we can really hate on that because it's kind of the same thing we're doing with the South Dakota game. It's not a mile away, but it really is all Husker fans in there when we go. So it's a smart thing to do. Now, 1 mile away does seem like a home game to me. So that's interesting how the committee will look at that. But I think Gonzaga is going to be in the tournament no matter what. So it probably won't be too much of an issue for them.
Very much agree. And that WAC conference has gotten a little bit better. St. Mary's, like you mentioned, is a good squad. But very excited to watch those games up in South Dakota. Rienk, congrats on the triple-double, my man. Great luck. And most importantly, good health for the rest of the season. Thanks for taking the time to join us here on the sports section. Very proud to have you as our first guest. Rienk Mast, everybody.
Appreciate you. I'll be following.
Good luck on Tuesday.
I'll see you over there. I'll see you in a bit, Sam. Good to see you, Mountie.
Great to see you. You're the man.
Yes, sir.
See ya. Love that
guy. I want all of your TCU buddies to just send us the most heinous voice calls.
I know. And I sent
so funny.
Right after we lost on Saturday too, I sent it in our group chat. I was like, in case anybody needs this.
The venting line.
Wait till Bender starts leaving voicemails. It's gonna get heinous.
Editing that stuff out. We can just keep that stuff in, I think.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you can keep some of that stuff about the call on.
Rienk Mast is brought to you by the Sports Section. The Sports Section's first official line of merchandise is now available. We've got everything you need to rep your favorite new podcast. Premium branded t-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, polos, and my personal favorite, the navy blue trucker hat, are now available to shop at sportssectionpod-shop-fourthwall.com or through the link in this description and all of our social media bios. The proceeds go directly back to making sure that the sports section stays on the air. Shout out to our guy, Jake Neiman. First merch order. We appreciate you. All right. Sam, back with myself. Thank you to Rienk for joining us. Let's talk a little college hoop. Been an exciting first week of college basketball, and We were talking about it a little bit before the show. I think what stood out to me most about watching all the games this week was how crazy this freshman class is.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many guys right now that I don't know if I've ever seen so many conversations about who will be the number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
You got Debansa from BYU, Darren Peterson from Kansas, Boozer from Duke, and then what's his name from UNC? Is it Caleb Wilson?
Yes, Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Wilson. Now people are talking about him being the number one pick, and you got Koa Pete from Arizona. Every single one of these guys looks like a number one pick caliber, and they're putting up absurd numbers for freshmen, and they all look the part too. They're big, athletic, and very skilled. So don't forget about our boy Braden Frager, 22 in the first game, and he had 15 last game. Carmelo Anthony's stat line 15-0-0, but that's neither here nor there. Unbelievable talent, very athletic too, and he's only 18 as a redshirt freshman.
That's special.
We'll throw him in the lottery combo.
Let's get him drafted. We can start that narrative, like we said, because we're in the media.
We're going to throw some narratives out there this year.
So we can say whatever we want, and people have to listen to it because we're in the media. So what we say is true 100% of the time.
All things go.
Just like how last week on the pod with Krez, I said that we didn't need to talk about the Bills-Dolphins game because the Bills were going to beat them by 1 million. They got embarrassed today.
I don't know if anyone can really blame you for thinking that would happen.
Yeah, but we can spin it. You know, we can edit this however we want, and people have to listen to it anyway. I wanted to start with Koa Pete. Like you mentioned, I think he was the most impressive player in the country that I watched last week. Opening day, his first ever collegiate basketball game against the defending national champions, number 3 Florida, at a neutral site, T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Arizona beats Florida 93-87. Koa Pete goes for 30, 7 rebounds, 5 assists in his collegiate debut. Played 28 minutes in their second game against Utah Tech and had 18 more. This kid is, like I said to Rienk, a problem.
Yeah, he's special. And I don't know if many people know this. We were one of his, final options, but he did come on visits to Nebraska when he was in high school. So we were in the conversation. It would be nice to have Ko on this team, but he's absolutely killing it. And just like we talked about, one of the few freshmen that are doing this right now.
I saw you guys got a 4-star commit today. Is that true?
Did. Yep.
Congratulations. Congrats,
From,
Coach Hoiberg.
Arkansas, I believe. I don't know too much about him. I'm less involved with the high school recruits now that I'm Unk on the team and won't be here next year. But I'll certainly be following along, and we got some big time recruits coming in, so building for the future.
That's awesome. Very exciting. And you mentioned Cam Boozer as well. I think that every broadcast the entire season is going to make sure that we know that he was named after Cameron Indoor. Just a shout out to those broadcasters. That's been covered. Anyway, Cameron Boozer had 15 and 13 in a 75-60 win on opening night against a really good Texas team where Sean Miller is now the coach after a couple of good seasons at Xavier and a historically excellent program at Arizona. Boozer then went for 25 and 8 in just 23 minutes. They blew out Western Carolina by 40. The Catamounts. Vermont is also the Catamounts for the record. But Cam Boozer looks really special as well. And what I've noticed with a lot of these freshmen is they're all huge. All these guys are like 6'8" wings.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely the new wave of basketball at this point, is having size and being skilled. If you're going to be a long tenured player in the NBA now, you got to be able to shoot it, you got to be able to guard, and you got to have size. So I think so many kids now that are tall early on, they don't play the post anymore. They just, I mean, basketball is becoming more positionless every single year, and these kids are just learning to play like guards, honestly, and can play every single spot. And that's why you're seeing these, 6'10" guys that look like point guards. So it is really the new wave, and I'm not shocked to see it at all.
Perhaps the most intriguing game of the weekend, especially midday Saturday, national television, Alabama, St. John's at Madison Square Garden. We know Rick Pitino loves to play there. He's a Northeast guy through and through. The number 15 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide put up 103 on the Johnnies, beat them 103-96. St. John was the number 5 ranked team in the country. But you look back at the Alabama team last year and those tournament games where they just shot the lights out. They were putting up 100 in the SEC, and in that NCAA tournament, they took 35 threes, shot 48% from the field. And my biggest takeaway is that Rick Pitino is a very well-respected, one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. And he has said over the last year that he is done recruiting freshmen, that he is pretty much only looking at transfer portal guys. St. John's has one non-international freshman this year, and he was a top 60 recruit. But we talk about this freshman class. Where do you think the balance is from a recruiting perspective as to the transfer portal and freshmen when you can go get established guys like Pitino has been doing?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think most coaches probably feel that way, that high school recruiting is becoming a lot less important just because you're building through the portal now every single year. But I think those top guys right now in high school are still always going to be there, and you're seeing it this year, obviously. And another weird wrinkle is you can bring in 22-year-old freshmen that have been playing pro overseas for years, and maybe even G League guys now. So I don't think necessarily freshman recruiting is going out the window. And then you can, I mean, looking at our team with Braden Frager, he wasn't one of those top guys, but you get him to redshirt 1 year and develop, and look at him, he's already a star for the first 2 games of the season. So I know that I think you don't build as much as like a freshman through senior just because of how it is in this day and age with so many kids leaving, and you don't know if kids are going to stay at your school anymore. But it's definitely becoming less of a thing to recruit freshmen. But I think Pitino definitely adds a bit of drama and flair to his press conferences at times, and he's probably being a little bit dramatic saying he doesn't recruit freshmen anymore.
Right.
But he is making a point that it is becoming less of a thing.
And the SEC has transitioned into an era of basketball where they can capitalize on those NIL budgets. Pitino sort of has a similar situation with St. John's and his ability to fundraise that community, which is intriguing to look at, especially with a university in the middle of New York City. Let's switch over to the Big Ten. Some really good teams in your conference this year. What do you make of the rest of the conference and other teams that you have gotten to see so far?
Yeah, I mean, we are an absolutely stacked conference this year. I think a lot of people think that the Big Ten is probably going to be the best basketball conference this season. And, you know, adding teams like Oregon, UCLA, USC, and Washington, it just adds to that, to the firepower. And, I mean, we haven't seen a ton of games yet, so you don't really know who is standing out as of now. But like I said, I mean, we think we're one of the better teams in the league, but there's so many good ones, you just don't know where you're going to end up. And I think was even just 2 years ago, we were 3rd in the league, and we were 1 game or a half game out of 2nd and a half game out of maybe 9th too. So I think it's going to be like that again this year, and we're just going to be really battle tested, which is obviously very helpful come postseason time. But the Big Ten is just stacked.
Watching Purdue has been a little bit interesting for me so far this season. Matt Painter has talent, is an incredible coach, produces year after year. They're the number 1 preseason team in the country. Again, I am not a preseason rankings guy. I think that is almost as irrelevant as draft grades for teams that you haven't seen play. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But they only beat the Oakland Golden Grizzlies by 10 last week. Braden Smith, the National Preseason Player of the Year, which again, He hasn't played any games this season, but he did go for 29-7 against Oakland, had 11 assists against Evansville, the Purple Aces. But Purdue hasn't looked like the number one team in the country to me right now. And we've played 2 games. It matters what you do in February and March, but
The one big thing, I don't know if you watch those games, but Trey Kaufman-Renn is hurt right now. So that is the biggest thing for why they're probably not performing how they should be. Oakland is a very good mid-major. They got killed by Michigan, and I think Greg Campy has been there for over 40 years. I think he probably really got on that team and had him fully prepared for Purdue. So I'm honestly not too surprised. I was a little surprised to see it that close for most of the game, that's for sure. No, Kaufman-Renn is definitely hurting them right now. I think he's one of the best bigs in our league and the country. He's got most dirty 15-foot floater. I don't even know what you call it, to be honest. It looks like he's watching Bill Russell highlights or something, because I've never seen anyone shoot the kind of shot. It's like a push shot, but he makes it every single time, and it's really tough to guard. Defense, especially when you got Braden Smith passing to him in the pocket. So getting him back, I think you're going to see more of what their team actually is going to be, and it's hard to write them off as the number one team right now. But certainly looking at the scores, you would think that.
Oakland is in Michigan, by the way.
It is.
Not California, for those who may have assumed. Do you remember when Kay Felder was at Oakland?
Oh, yeah. He was a baller, man.
That dude was nuts. He led the nation in scoring. I think that was his senior season. He ended up signing somewhere. I think he played in the G League for a little bit. But this was maybe 6-7 years ago. I got to cut that out. Can't put that in. Now it's definitely going to stay in.
Sorry, everyone, for that.
Oh, my gosh.
My brain is fried. I have full brain rot from that every time I hear it.
It's crazy, right?
I'm sure the listeners can relate too. Let's not act like we didn't all think it when he said that.
No, and I thought it right away. Didn't mean to do it. Anyway, they came to Seattle to play Washington in a non-con game that I was at, and Oakland beat the Dogs in that game, like you said very well, Coach. Kay Felder put like 48 on the Huskies that night.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite players to watch. I mean, little guard, just getting buckets. You could tell by the way we play very similar. He had 48, I had 0 the other night, but that's neither here nor there. Kay was a beast. Oakland is always they're always fun to watch. They always recruit a guy. I mean, it was Jack Golke a couple of years ago, everyone knows. I can't remember the guy's name last year, but they played in Hawaii when we were there in the game ahead of us, and they always recruit a guy that they just want him to spray the three. Just every time he gets the ball, look to shoot it. And they had another one on the court against Purdue, and he had some big ones against them. But they always get guys, man. They had a dude who had 20 points on Purdue, real athletic, was hitting middies, and a dog point guard who was picking up Braden Smith full, turned him over a couple times. So they're definitely a solid team.
40 minutes coast to coast on Braden Smith?
I believe it was full. I mean, they run a zone, so he was getting back, but he was pressuring him. I don't know if it was full the entire game, but yeah, they did turn him over a few times, which is surprising to see.
That's impressive. And the funniest part about the Golke thing to me was that they played 6 guys that year. They only had 6 guys, but they brought Golke off the bench, and he played like 37 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a mindset thing that he wanted him to have, just to come in and just be ready to just spray it, but it worked. What did he make, 10 threes against Kentucky?
Yeah, I think he had 34.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
They won that game. I had that in my bracket that
That would
year.
be a lot of fun to be that guy on that team, is just every single time you're running off in action, any single time you see the ball, you're trying to throw it at the rim.
It would be so fun.
Maybe I'll play like that one of these games.
Why not? I'm sure Coach Hoiberg would love that.
Be really happy if I start 0 for 7 from 3.
Yeah, if you just started spraying. Another really good team in the Big Ten is Michigan State. They had a really good win against number 14 Arkansas. John Calipari at Arkansas now too. Izzo and Calipari, a really cool coaching matchup. I guess you have a little bit of a tie there with your brother playing for Coach Izzo. They had a guy named Cam Ward off the bench, different Cam Ward, but he led all scorers with 18 and had 10 rebounds.
Freshman as well.
Yeah. And 6 scorers combined from those teams in double figures in that game. The bench production was really good. Michigan State seems really deep. Have you been able to watch any of them this season?
I did. I was at a sports bar called End Zone last night for the Husker game, and that was the game on at the bar before, so I was watching it. Let me tell you, if you were not in good shape that game, you are after it. That is one of the fastest paced games I've ever seen. I don't even think they scored 70 points, but that's what you're playing against when you play against Michigan State. And I was watching Arkansas; they're doing the same thing back to them. So yeah, I'm sure those guys were absolutely gassed after that game. But Michigan State, I absolutely love that program. Izzo's the best, always super nice and just a great person. But Jack had some really fun years there. They made the Final Four, really good teams. They beat Zion's team in the Elite Eight. I was at that game. Probably the most fun basketball game I've ever attended as a fan. They're always very good. Izzo's always going to get them to be playing hard. They're very well coached. And like last year, they were super deep, and that's what got them so far. I don't think Michigan State is necessarily as stacked with talent as maybe they were in the past, but I think just the way Izzo coaches them and gets them to play for him is just always going to be a successful team.
The last college hoops game I wanted to hit on was kind of crazy to me that it was the first time that Kansas had ever been to North Carolina, but UNC takes care of business. You mentioned Darren Peterson. A lot of people have him as the projected number 1 pick in the draft. He scores 22 for Kansas. Caleb Wilson had 24 and 7 for North Carolina. Both of those teams are going to be in the tournament regardless, but it's cool to see those caliber of teams playing this early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize. Did you say Kansas has never?
That was the first time they've ever been to Chapel Hill.
Really? Yeah. I mean, some of those teams they play in the I think it's the Champions Classic. I believe that's Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State. Is it UNC as well?
And there's one other school that rotates, and one of them gets left out sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those games are just so much fun. There's so much hype around those when the Blue Bloods play. So it's so much fun to be able to watch. But I have YouTube TV, so I couldn't watch it. So I wish I could speak more on that game, but I really can't.
Yep.
Let's fix your shit, Disney.
We need to get on it. We need to figure it out. It's not cool. And you know what I'm done with?
Listen to us at the sports section, Disney.
Yeah. You don't have YouTube TV? You come over here to the sports section. We'll get you right.
We'll talk all about it. Well, except me, because I can't watch ESPN, but Mounsey will get you covered.
You know what I'm done with? Is ESPN putting up the ads about, like, go to this website to sign a petition to get your channels back. How about you give us our channels back, Disney? I don't need to sign a petition.
It's a monopoly, and it's absolutely absurd. I know the show's about positivity, but Disney, let's figure it out.
It's a lot easier to be positive when you can watch the games.
When you can watch ESPN. It's got to be on YouTube TV. We'll leave it there.
And you know what my problem is? I'm a cable fan. I loved cable. I thought it was the best. You got every channel. It was in the same place. Where did we go wrong? Let's go back to cable.
What's the cable? No one uses cable anymore.
I love cable. My parents have cable. It's the best. When I go home, we got Xfinity, all the channels.
We're just we're freshly out of college. I'm in college. You're not anymore, but I'm just a college kid. I'm not getting a cable for my house.
That's fair.
Maybe throw the dish back on the house.
Yeah, we can put the satellite up. I also got a lot of questions in Fort Worth about the studio. Thank you for the compliments, by the way, to everyone that liked the studio. I appreciate it. Yes, this is in my studio apartment. So this is the entirety of my apartment. I have a bed right here, but I don't have a kitchen anymore because I have a TV right here that I look at Sam on, and it just blocks my kitchen. So I turn the apartment into a podcast studio. We got a bed. That's about it. So to answer questions, yes, this is in my apartment. for everybody.
You eat, sleep, and breathe the sports section. That's why people love it.
Damn
the
right.
commitment.
We're going to the moon. We're getting on the rocket ship.
We're gonna get Krez back, hopefully, and we're gonna get on the rocket ship.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, for those of you listening out there, me and Krez will be releasing a UFC preview for this weekend. Big card at Madison Square Garden, so look forward to that coming out on Friday. Okay, we need to talk about our voicemail line. We posted on the Instagram. We'll put up the number right here. Bring it up on the screen. Send us voicemails. We want to hear from the guys. We want to hear from our fellows, our friends out there.
We want to hear from all of your sweet voices, guys.
Exactly. I was saying before we started recording, Jack Bender, I need a voicemail from you soon. I know you're listening. Said he listens on his commute. I need you to talk Niner football on here. And then you and Krez can just start screaming at each other about the Niners or whatever. We did get one voicemail from my boy Patty Kane. He had boots on ground in Madison, Wisconsin last night for us, Saturday night for you guys, where the number 23 ranked Washington Huskies got embarrassed by a poor Wisconsin football team. Got a good stat for you, Sam. The Wisconsin punter had more passing yards than the quarterback.
For Washington or for
No,
Wisconsin?
for Wisconsin, and they won.
Really? How many yards?
Like 40. They ran a fake punt.
It's Big Ten football, baby.
13-10.
Welcome to it, Washington.
The Dogs hung 59 earlier this season, and they go to Madison and lay an egg.
Cold November day. They're not used to the Midwest cold. I don't know how cold it gets in Washington, but it gets real cold up in Madison.
It doesn't get too cold in Washington. It just rains all day. It's like the coldest it gets would be like maybe a little under 40.
Yeah, it was probably cold. It was probably colder than that, and I'm sure those hits hurt a lot worse in that cold.
Big time. So this is from Patrick Kane, the other Patrick Kane, but I can't wait for him to come on the show so that I can just put Patrick Kane interview in the title. Different Patrick Kane. Anyway, here's Patty Kane's voicemail.
He's the Patrick Kane.
Yes, this was from after that game. I believe I got a notification about it. I was at a bar as well. I think this was about 1:30 a.m. Central. It was good timing. Here it is.
What's up, sports section listeners? This is Patty Kane calling in. I'm currently in Madison, Wisconsin, after the Huskies just got their asses kicked by the Badgers. And let me say one thing. That's all I need to say. That college sports are alive and well. The Huskies suck. We'll never do anything with Jetfish. I hope he stays one more year so we get one more year of Damon Williams. But he's better off going to Florida or somewhere else. We're probably better off without him. He's a slick oil salesman, and he's slimy, and we are not tough. We can't win on the road, so screw Jetfish, and that bastard can go somewhere else. All right. Big fan of the pod. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Patty Kane.
What an electric voice. First voicemail in history.
We appreciate you. Thanks for listening.
Jedfish, if you see that clip, we're sorry. We mean to spread positivity on the show, but we can't control what our listeners say on the voicemail. Everything goes.
Things are getting a little loose here on the sports section, you know? Some things happen. It's all right.
We got passionate Washington fans.
Shout out to my guys up in Seattle. All right, so we hit Washington football. It was a tough week for all of my football loyalties. The Frogs looked miserable on Saturday against Iowa State, 20-17 loss. But I do want to give a big shout out, Sam, to my boy Kevin. This random guy that was sitting right in front of us at the game was just wearing a Husker Hawaiian t-shirt, Nebraska hat, Husker Hawaiian with corn just all over it. It rocked. So
We're
shout out to
everywhere,
Kevin.
man. Shout out Kevin.
Shout out to our guy Kevin. Play calling was horrible. Turned it over 3 times. Hoover threw 2 bad picks. Fumbled going into score with like 6 minutes left. Threw the ball 50 times because we couldn't run it. Hoover has some weird stat lines. Like, sure, he had 319 yards, but he threw 2 bad picks. Didn't look good. Kavorian Barnes had 25 yards on 15 carries. And the thing is, TCU doesn't play any defense. Nobody in the Big 12 plays any defense, which is fine if you score a bunch of points. Rocco Beck was 9 for 24 for 111 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. And Iowa State walks out of Fort Worth with a win. They go for $161. On the ground, a disappointing loss. Sadness.
It doesn't make sense to me how different these conferences play. Like, if you're in the Big Ten, you're gonna play hard-nosed, not score many points football. Like, look at Oregon versus Iowa. Oregon did not play like that when they're in the Pac-12.
No.
And look at them now. They win on a field goal, 18-16.
They easily could have lost that game.
Yeah, and you look at the Big 12, every game is high scoring. SEC, same thing. Why it doesn't make sense to me. Can one of our voicemail people ring in the voicemail line, why are the conferences so different?
Please, John, can you explain this to us?
John King, let us know.
Maybe Nicky Middlestat. He should have insight on that. We had some great talk about ball over the weekend. Shout out to the Hinsdale guys. I crashed at their place over the weekend.
It's a good time.
The fellas, they say what up.
I have an interesting story to tell from the West Georgia game.
Yeah.
And people from the Chicago area will be more kind of surprised by this, but number 10 for their team, I can't remember his name. He's I think first man off the bench. He started in their exhibitions, but he came up to me in the middle of the first half. He's like, "Hey, I played you and your brother in high school. I went to OPRF, which was like 20 minutes from us in our conference." I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I recognize you. Yeah, that's crazy." And then the ref, it's a younger ref. I don't know if I'd had him in college before. He comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I refed one of your games at Hinsdale Central for you and your brother." I was like, what is happening right now? And I wasn't really in the talking mood. We were up by like 2 points to West Georgia in the first half. I was like, I need to focus here, but what is happening right now? Because in Nebraska, I don't have any connections like that. And then I get 2 in a span of 5 minutes from a guy that plays for West Georgia and a ref.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Should we get into the NFL or my team, the Vikings?
Yeah, let's talk Vikes.
Admittedly, I'm not the best Vikings fan anymore. I grew up a diehard, but all the moving around, I lost my passion a little bit. I'm trying to find it again. JJ McCarthy. Take a look at your phone, Mounds. I say the tweets.
Yeah.
Or should we call him 9?
This is so good. So, well, let's throw up the tweet here. I'll put it up on the screen. It's just, this is a miserable interception. Call me 9. I didn't know about this alter ego.
Did you see the tweet above it? It's the context behind it. You can put that one up too.
We'll throw this one up. Vikings QB JJ McCarthy revealed he has developed an angry alter ego. How angry are we, JJ? I call him 9. 9 comes out, and I got to understand, like, okay, he can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 quarters. Minnesota has found its franchise quarterback. All right, 9. There we go, JJ.
Yeah, so we got 9 at the helm. Lost to the Ravens today. But we're hoping that 9 gets angrier and leads us to some dubs here down the stretch. But we're gonna move on from that, because if you have an angry alter ego and he doesn't play well, it's just not a great look.
No, if you advertise it as an angry alter ego, you gotta play with a little fire. Not that JJ doesn't, but the Vikings, just I've underperformed a little bit to this point.
Oh, I don't know why it's so funny to me.
It's hilarious.
Just wait till one comes out on Tuesday.
One's coming out.
That was Sam that played against FIU. That had 0 points. One's coming out and dropping 40.
One's coming out. He's going to jack Goku and just going to matriculate the ball into the hoop. Fire it. Throw it up.
Yeah,
From everywhere.
9 did not lead us to a win today, so we're not hating. We are just criticizing formally.
I like that. You should develop an angry Sam. One.
There will be an angry Sam. That's the Sam that scores more than 10 points. Doesn't come out often, but occasionally one comes out.
Can we talk about my second favorite Sam for a second? Sammy D in Seattle.
D.
Sam Darnold, Hawks smoke the Cardinals at home. Smelled like a blowout, was a blowout. DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 defensive touchdowns in the first half. Game was pretty much over before it started. Congrats to the Hawks. Still in a tight battle with the Rams at the top of the West, but it's kind of the deepest division in football right now. I feel really good about the Hawks. I wasn't thinking soupy before last week, that win in Washington. Now I'm thinking soupy for the Hawks. I think we can do it.
I'm all for it. He's leading my locker room in fantasy. Could beat back-to-back dubs. I'll give the Seahawks my fandom if the Vikings don't make it under 9's leadership.
I don't think Sam has an angry alter ego. I don't think Gingers are allowed to do that.
I wish. I don't know why we let him go, man.
Yeah.
He was good for us.
He was really good for you guys. And it's not his fault that he got drafted by the Jets.
No. Now that we've seen multiple QBs go through there, we know that it is not the talent's fault. I mean, and Carolina as well.
Mhm.
Baker and him both didn't work out there. Everyone thought they were just bad. And look at them now.
Baker's a dog.
A dog. So
I
is
thought
Sammy D.
I thought they were going to get it done against New England today, but Drake May is now the MVP favorite, by the way, in the NFL.
Is he really?
I did not expect that preseason. But my thing is that since this is like a different era of the Patriots, I don't really hate them like I did after the Seahawks lost the Super Bowl in the Tom Brady era, just because they were hateable and everybody hated them. No offense, but I don't hate the Patriots anymore. I think Drake May's fun to watch.
People hate sustained success. That's what it is. I mean, people hate the Chiefs now. They didn't hate them early on in the dynasty. But yeah, Drake May, I mean, he's got a good personality. He's almost a little bit, Josh Allen is awesome, like completely unique, but in a way, he's similar to Josh Allen to me, that he's just a fan favorite because he's funny. Just kind of, you can relate with him a little bit. You see him in like the YouTube videos with the Sunday Conversation with Caleb Presley.
Yeah.
Those are pretty funny. The thing his brothers did for him was hysterical. They redid like the Fab Five talking about Christian Laettner.
Yes.
That was hilarious. But yeah, I think seeing that kind of stuff, it makes him easy to cheer for. And he's just a stud.
I agree. He's doing special things in New England.
Dude, I keep thinking about the angry alter ego.
Speaking of the New England Patriots, they will host Thursday night football this week with the New York Jets, Jets, coming to town. Patriots open as 10.5-point favorites in that ball game. Do you like either team in this game, Sam?
I'll tell you who I don't like is the Jets. I think the Patriots win handily. That's my guess.
I would agree with that. I also thought that the Bills were going to win handily today. So
we can keep maybe we can start doing picks. We can keep a record win-loss.
That's what I was thinking. I
fellas.
kind of wanted to do something like that with Krez and the three of us. But yeah, maybe next week. I got a whiteboard over here. We can put it up, write down the picks.
But you're 0-1. We're keeping that. You're 0-1
Who am I on one? Oh, on the Bills?
on the Bills.
Yeah, I'm 0-1. Big time. Yep, I gave out the Bills. Sorry to everybody. Got a birdcage of college football games on the slate this week. Didn't work. Didn't work out.
But we both got Patriots on Thursday, correct?
Heavy.
Heavy.
Patriots by a lot of points.
We'll ride together.
Yep. Hopefully Stephon Diggs can get in the end zone again. Got in the end zone for me today. Put up like 20 for my fantasy team. I'm not going to lose the league, though. I'm going to win. And
Got to get your guys to start playing some D, man.
I need Sam Darnold to get my locker room together.
We can do a little update here on the fantasy scores from.
Yeah.
when we
What's the
started.
score of the game?
It is, seeing that correctly, does that say 3-5? It is 5-3 Chargers. In an absolute barn burner on Peacock.
Prime time. What's going on?
Primetime game. As we spoke about earlier, these primetime games have been absolutely electric. Jalen Warren has 4.1 points. Dicker, the kicker, has got 3. We now have a 35% chance to win. We're going to need a late rally here.
Okay. Episode 3, man. You got anything else?
I got nothing, man. Good pod. That one went long.
Yeah, we got a little loose today. Hung
fun.
out. Episode 3 of the sports section. Krez will be back. We'll do UFC on Friday. Sam will be back on Tuesday. For Nick Resnack, Sam Hoiberg, I'm Matthew Mounsey. Play the outro. It's all good.